Cricket, a sport that captivates the hearts of over 2.5 billion fans worldwide and was born on the English fields of the late 16th century. The game has now evolved into an electrifying contest, and in India, it's more than just a game, it's a festival. With the World Cup commencing this month, the cricketing world is as excited as ever. But how did cricket transform from a slow gentleman's game to the thrilling spectacle that we witnessed today? Let's have a look on how far the cricketing World Cup has come. In the early 17th century, cricket was considered the sport of nobles, gaining popularity in England. As the British Empire expanded, so did cricket. It was introduced to the West Indies by colonists and to India by British East India Company. It arrived in Australia almost as soon as colonization began in 1788 and reached New Zealand and South Africa in the early years of the 19th century. However, the cricket of those years was far from the limited overs format we know today. Matches were timeless, with no set duration. In fact, the longest game recorded was 9 days between England and South Africa in 1939. Fast forward to 1975, the International Cricket Council or ICC challenged the tradition by organizing the first ever Cricket World Cup in the one-day format. The inaugural World Cup saw teams struggling to adapt to this new format. Some teams applied the only techniques they knew, the test match techniques. But one team, the mighty West Indies, under the fearless leadership of Clive Lloyd, emerged as the game changers. Their fierce, fast bowling attack planted terror in the opposition batters. With big names like Vivian Richards, Andy Roberts, Gary Sobers, Malcolm Marshall and many more, the West Indies side went on a rampage, winning back-to-back World Cups in 1975 and 1979. Meanwhile, India's cricketing scene was vastly different. It was not considered a major power. Although the Indian team of the 1970s had a few standout players, India struggled in the first two World Cups, failing to qualify for the semi-finals in both of them and winning only one match against East Africa, which was a non-cricketing nation. India came to the 83 World Cup with no expectations from anyone, but fate had some other plans. Led by their fearless captain Kapil Dev, India stunned the entire world and the two-time champions West Indies by winning in the opening match. From then, India went on a winning streak through many heroics, such as the 175 not out by Kapil Dev against Zimbabwe, Mohinder Ramanat's outstanding performance in the semi-final against England, Roger Binney's 4-wicket haul against Australia, and many more. India met the mighty West Indies once again in the finals, in which India defended a below par score of 183 and won the World Cup that everyone thought India would never win. That day changed the trajectory of Indian cricket. The nation found its roar. It inspired a generation of young Indians to pick up the sport and play for the country. Each World Cup brought with it some iconic moments. Venkatesh Prasad's epic comeback against Amir Sohail in 1996.
Well, that's the answer. That's the best way you can answer a batsman. Venkatesh Prasad.
MS Dhoni's winning 6 in 2011.
Dhoni finishes off in style. A magnificent strike into the crowd. India lift the World Cup after 28 years.
Australia's sheer domination of winning the World Cup 3 times in a row.
For the third successive time, Australia are World Cup champions.
And how can we forget the heartbreak of South Africa and New Zealand semi-final in 2015, which left the whole South African team in tears.
Utter despair for South Africa, who have played a full part in what has been a magnificent game of cricket.
And of course, Ben Stokes' heroics in the 2019 final.
I do not believe what I've just seen.
Beyond the excitement, the World Cup has significant economic implications. Take the coming World Cup for example. According to media reports, the BCCI is spending around 50 crore rupees on each of the 10 World Cup stadiums, totaling to 500 crore spent on infrastructure and stadium-based renovations. The pouring of fans from all parts of the world brings tourism and a lot of indirect financial impact. It boosts the economy of the host country. The ICC also benefits economically, a portion of which goes into the grassroots development of cricket in various countries and charitable events. For us Indians, the World Cup this year is no less than a festival. Being hosted on our home soil, we have a lot of expectations from our team.
Winning the first two games of the World Cup has boosted the morale of not just the Indian team, but 1.5 billion Indians as well.
We have been eagerly waiting for an ICC trophy for about 10 years. And with the heartbreak of 2019 still fresh in our minds, we are going in this World Cup with more enthusiasm than ever. Fun fact to note here is that the last 3 World Cups winners were the host countries themselves. And with India hosting this edition, maybe luck might be on our side. Well, we all have our fingers crossed.